While the colleagues are still preparing their questions, I wanted to ask the question as a moderator. You were talking a lot about the integration with the Asia-Pacific region. How do you evaluate the business climate in Russia? How do you evaluate the economic situation in regard to investment attractivity for foreign investors? I can talk about that for a very long time, but I'll try to keep it in a nutshell. Overall, we have some issues and we have some progress. Right now, difficult time. This is paramount for us right now that the oil prices have plummeted, ruble has depreciated. 1.5 years, our country is coming up against sanction pressure. This does not help the economic situation. Despite that, economic situation and the financial system are quite stable. We're coping with the negative fluctuation of prices, which managed to retain investor interest, and most of the foreign companies active in the country are trying to keep up this spirit. Apart from the negative factors, it is clear that there are also positive things for foreign investors. Maybe this does not work for our country, but it is good for foreign investors. I mean that the ruble has declined, so it is possible to acquire Russian assets at a cheaper price than it was possible before. Many use this factor. On the other hand, companies have a better local content right now in Russia, and companies working for export also have additional benefits. As for the business climate in Russia, we have competitiveness, so we'll continue to improve business climate in Russia. That is the #1 priority for Russian government. We have a special initiative, National Entrepreneurial Initiative. We have targeted this initiative for a very long time. It is aimed at liberalization of legal framework, at building dialogue with business community, also aimed at improving business climate overall. For example, we have stopped levying some non-tax duties till 2019. That is to improve the business climate. We have progress in PPP, public-private partnership. We're trying to keep our foreign markets active as well. We have created some institutions for that, for example, Russian Investment Center. There are some indicators which show that Russian investors are active. It seems that we're actually improving in our factors. For example,
doing business indicators show that we are moving forward, and we are already among the first 50 ranks in doing business. Of course, this is not the position that actually satisfies us. I mean, those who are doing Russian business, who are regulating Russian business, but nevertheless, the trend is pretty obvious. We are ahead of a number of states who've been our competitors in the past, and I hope that through joint efforts we'll be able to improve this in figures in the future. So we hope that all these factors will be taken into account by our Asia-Pacific partners when making their investment decisions. Thank you very much, Mr. Medvedev. Now the question from the audience. You have the floor, sir.
Prime Minister, good afternoon. Dobry dzień. My name is J.C. Pareñas, and I am Senior Advisor at Nomura. As you have mentioned, Siberia and the Russian Far East are rich in natural resources, and they have tremendous potential to contribute to the growth of the region, but also to serve as a bridge between Russia and the Asia-Pacific. So my question, Prime Minister, is what in your view is the role of foreign companies? And how do you plan to attract them to participate in these two national projects?
Thank you very much for this question, because this issue is of extreme importance for our country. Russia is the biggest state in the world, and of course we are interested in making Russian Siberia and Far East our national priority of the 21st century, because these are vast territories where a huge amount of fields is located, as well as natural resources, and without foreign investment we can't do in these areas, and we hope that our colleagues will actively invest in these territories. What is being done for this goal? I've already said a few things about this. Let me repeat. We're talking about establishing specialized legal regimes. When we've been discussing this issue in the government a year ago, we have studied the legislation of Asia-Pacific states, and we have set up a model which is called Advanced Development Territory. This model was established for the Far East. What is this about? It is about the preferential tax regime and opportunities for investment into infrastructure projects, facilitated visa regime, the so-called single window system for company registration and for administrative issues. This is a tool which, as we hope, will benefit us. 9 territories have already been registered. 9 advanced development territories have already been registered. There are about 70 residents who are ready to work there, and I hope that this number will grow. As for now, the announced amount of investment is, at this moment, is about $5 billion, but this is the very beginning of our work. And of course, we're flexible people, and if there is a need to adjust something, to adjust this institution, we will make amendments into our legislation. I would also like to remind you of a very good independent way to stimulate investment into Siberia and Far East. This is the free port construction, Franco port construction. This is a model that is actively employed in the region. We introduced it for the first time. First, we're talking about the free port of Vladivostok, but if it starts functioning properly, we will try to extend it. So this Franco port has almost all the regimes that I've mentioned, the preferential tax regime and other regimes, and I hope that conditions will be comparable to the same ports that are located in the Asia-Pacific region, and will be able to compete with our partners in Asia-Pacific. But let me repeat, this is a creative work, and of course we will respond to proposals made by our partners, foreign investors. If a need occurs to adjust something in our legislation, of course we will consider these ideas very carefully and make amendments. This work has been started, and I hope it will bring good results. Thank you very much. More questions?
Prime Minister, I'm from APEC Brunei. My name is Hafimi. You mentioned just now that you stress on innovation and technology cooperation. In what way is Russia going to collaborate on such a combination? Thank you.
Thank you. Well, everybody's speaking about technologies today, and as far as I understand, my colleagues have already been speaking from this rostrum about the technological cooperation. This is a very fragile area, very delicate area. Everyone wants to cooperate on the one hand, but on the other hand, there is the commercial secret protection, the industrial secret protection. So it is obvious that the issue of innovation is of principled importance for the development of any states today. The world is being influenced by a whole number of factors, and the most important factor is the technological revolution. In this sense, we are not still. We have set up this specialized program, the National Technological Initiative. It is a long-term program For a medium term, it includes a number of areas, the so-called road maps. We have determined 9 target markets, and we are going to finance events. Within the public-private partnership, there are 4 roadmaps, which I, as a head of the government, have signed recently. They are aimed at different areas. I will mention some of them. The so-called AutoNet, those transport vehicles that are managed without a driver, without a pilot. It includes the NeuroNet, those technological solutions that are related to the activization of brain activities, and a number of other road maps which we are going to sign in the near future. As you know, Russia provides quite good education, and there are strong national research centers, research and development centers. I would like to add that the Asia-Pacific region is of great interest for us. We are talking, in fact, about the common research space of the APEC, and we hope that APEC states will also show interest into our research infrastructure. Moreover, there are now some topics, some subjects which we used to call mega science, and which require the streamlining of scientific policies of many countries. Besides, it is important to communicate at discussion platforms. We have the Open Innovations Forum that is being held annually. The recent forum took place in Moscow, and the topic of this forum this year was the person at the junction of the trends of technological revolution. This is exactly what we're discussing today. This is indeed an open platform. And availing myself of this opportunity, I would like to invite all our partners, all our APEC partners, to take part in these events next year, because each year there is a separate participating country who has some privileges. We've held such forum with our Chinese partners in 2014, with France and Finland in 2013, and of course we're ready to continue holding this forum. So I believe that technological cooperation is of huge importance for the future. And I hope that we'll be able to build very positive relations with APEC companies.
Thank you very much. On behalf of business circles and all media here, we plan to implement a lot of projects with APEC. And I wish to all of you a great business success and have fun.